like above, but above 7K, I have one guy I'm playing above 7K, and that's Lamar Jackson.
Oh, you bitch.
He's
this is going to be good.
I can't wait to hear this one.
He is just in a spot against Detroit, who I think is showing that they've got a little bit of fight in them, right?
They're trying really hard.
They stay competitive for the first, 2.5 quarters, enough to at least like force Lamar to play hard, right? We saw what Rodgers did, and granted, Aaron Jones got a bunch of those touchdowns, but like very easily those plays could have been Lamar running those in or pass to Andrews or pass to Hollywood. Like my point being, like, I think Lamar's just in a great spot with the rushing upside as well. He could very easily in the spot go for 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown and 150, 200 yards passing with 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
And right there, I just think he has the dynamic ability, like against a really poor Lions defense, to hit value at that range. I think some of the other high-end quarterbacks don't always provide the rushing upside. There's one other guy, obviously, that does that, but I just like Lamar against the Lions. I think he's in a great spot. He's playing lights out right now, and I think we could see a bananas game from him.
Now, are you concerned with the news that came out today that he has diarrhea again?
Yeah, I'm not. I think it's only going to motivate him to run faster, to be totally honest with you. They said he did practice. I think he's going to be more motivated to put up more points so he gets taken out earlier, and then he can go sit on the crapper.
Go take a dump.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. If he's up 40 points in the third quarter, like, the toilet's his. So I think he's in a good spot. I think the Lions are like just good enough to like stay competitive and push, push it, right? Like we'll get some of the other quarterbacks, but I just think on the turf too, the fast field, like, I don't know, man. I just see Lamar being able to, like, I think he's putting up some MVP type numbers right now. And we saw what he did against the Chiefs, and I'm going to ride that wave if I'm going.
I got my big argument is he's faced the Raiders and the Chiefs. Now, I know the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year, but their defense is god awful. Mm-hmm. Steve Spagnuolo's lost complete control of that defense. The Raiders, I know everyone's like saying, "Oh, look how good they are." No, they're not good. They're not good. So,
have you watched the Lions play football?
Yeah, they try really hard, and they cover the spread against your Niners. So that's all I know. But all I'm saying is Lamar's gone against 2 absolute patty cake defenses. The Lions are I know the Lions are patty cake as well. I don't know. Lamar's just not my guy. He never was. He never will be.
So my thing is, when I broke this down, like the Ravens defense is not 5 years ago. It's not 10 years ago, Ray Lewis defense. Like everyone is consumed with the Ravens name. Like they've given up a lot of points so far.
So Vinny, to your point, because they don't have a good defense, Detroit actually ranks in the top 10 in run blocking so far this year. They have, I think when I was looking at the numbers, they have a plus 22% run blocking advantage according to PFF. Okay. Dan Campbell is going to try and run the ball as much as possible, and he knows
they have a strong offensive line.
The only possible way that they can win is keeping the ball out of Lamar's hands, right?
Yep.
So if they can run the ball and keep the clock moving, I just don't think that everything you said, there's nothing wrong with what you said. I just think he has a more difficult path to hitting his ceiling this week than some other guys that I'm on. It's actually
I hear what you're saying. I just love the big playability by him and the rushing upside and big spots.
But what I gotta say, what scares me the most though is all of the popular shows on ESPN, NFL Network, all the BS shows. It's Lamar. They're just sucking him off every day of this week, and that made me pivot completely and go, nope. I'm not doing it. I'm out. That's my big reason. Anytime Stephen A. Smith says he loves Lamar Jackson, I'm out.
And that's totally fine. I look at it as I'm getting a running back at that price at 7,800 who's also probably going to throw for multiple touchdowns. On
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So, Joey, who you got up top?
It's Kyler Murray. It's the same reasons, except Kyler Murray's actually good. He can actually throw the ball. He's got the same running ability, if not better than Lamar. I know Lamar like jukes people and shit, but Kyler is like untouchable. It's different running styles, but Kyler Murray against the Jaguars don't care about Urban Meyer. They don't care about this season. It's completely lost at this point. And like what I wrote on my quarterback article this week, though, is he's 5% this week. What are people seeing? They're going, they're going to kick their ass, and Kyler's not going to do anything. The Arizona Cardinals know one thing, and that's put their foot on the gas pedal. They're not. They don't know how to play any other way. They will live and die. They will lose games doing it. They don't care. They're going to go fourth quarter. You're going to.
Joey's like lagging. Like
yeah.
You guys catch me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. And
so the whole idea is the gas pedal is going to be on the entire time at 5% owned. I'm sorry. All the reasons you just gave for Lamar, those are my reasons for Kyler. Done deal. And it's against a worse opponent that's not trying. At least the Lions are giving an effort. The Jaguars aren't even trying. Yeah, they're going to get the first overall pick this year, and Kyler Murray is about to just bolster his MVP numbers this week and come and go, oh fuck, why didn't I play him against the fucking Jaguars? 5% is too much to ignore, or too little to ignore. So Kyler's my guy at the top. Jim, on to you.
I like that play. My guy from the top is Russ. $200 cheaper.
Love it.
Than Lamar. I think he gives similar rushing upside to Lamar. Nobody gives like the same upside as Lamar, but I mean, all I really care about is touchdowns. And I think Russ can easily get 1 to 2 near the goal line this week. He's not going to be very popular because his stacking options are expensive. DK and Lockett, which I'm going to stack them with him. And then the run backs for the Vikings are also a little pricey. The Vikings offense is absolutely terrible. And for whatever reason, defense, yes.
Yeah, can I give you a little stat? Can I give you a stat on that? The Vikings are giving up a 78% completion percentage clip as of now, 2 games in, and they're averaging 10. They're averaging 10.5 yards per attempt, not completion, per attempt, 10.5 yards. So that is on pace for the worst defense in the NFL.
So, I mean, Russ he's top 5 in average depth of target this year. They're actively trying to push the ball downfield. If you're only going to pick one guy to pair with him this week, I think it's Metcalf.
Yeah.
And when we're looking at ownership, if we're talking about basically it's between him and Lamar because they're closest in price. He's half the ownership that Lamar is this week and presents the same amount of upside. And for whatever reason, over the last few years, Seattle plays much, much better on the road than at home. And especially indoors on a fast field, it's really conducive to what they do as an offense. The offense is very consolidated. So that's my guy that I'm going with. And if we're going with, I'll just get my fade out of the way right now. I know he's your guy, Vinny, but I got 0% Lamar Jackson. It could kill me this week. But for some of the reasons we already kind of talked about, we don't want to belabor the point anymore. But he's going to be my fade this week. I would rather pay up $300 or $400 to go to Mahomes if I'm going to pay $7,800,
right?
Or I'd rather pay down $200 and go to Russ, who gives me basically the same thing that I think. He's a little bit banged up. I'm concerned that if the Ravens do get up really, really large, there's another Raven that we'll talk about later that I'm all in on that could really, really pay off this week, especially in a blowout type game.
Yeah.
But I think they might just run the ball a ton, but not with Lamar. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like the Chiefs game where they're going to have to go back and forth.
They're not going to hurt him. Yeah, they're not going to put him in any dangerous situations.
And my last piece on that, like why I like Lamar similar to like a Mahomes or a Russ, which you're talking about, and why I'm off Kyler, not that he's not fantastic. He is. But I can't spend, like the amount of money it's going to take to get Nuke and some of these other guys for a offense that plays 4 or 5 receiver sets, right? Like we've seen Kirk go off. We've seen Hopkins go off. We've seen Moore go off. We've seen Edmonds get it. Like I need concentrated targets in offenses and in fantasy. And I love the Russ play. Like I absolutely have Russ in my player pool. And that's why I like Lamar, right? Like it's going to Hollywood. It's going to Andrews.
Yeah.
Unless that son of a bitch Watkins comes out and goes off, which he does a couple times.
No, he sucks.
Well, you know what I mean? Like the targets are going to 2 or 3.
Here's the real question. So if you had to gun to your head, Lamar Jackson, Russ Wilson, who are you taking this week? They're 200 apart, so it's a fair question in my opinion.
I like the Russ game better.
Yeah, I would take Russ over Lamar over every time.
We'll just roll right into the mid tier, and I'll just hit it because my second favorite quarterback is Cousins, and it's for the same reasons Jim just said. I think that game is up tempo. I think Seattle's defense is overrated as hell. I love both offenses in that game, in the dome inside where Russ is obviously going to tear it up, right? We were texting last Sunday. It was like 10 minutes into the slate, and I was like, guys, Cousins has 20 points.
Yeah.
Dude, they just fire. And I love Cook as well, but like that offense just rolls. So I love Cousins, and I love the bring back. I mean, if you're going to full game stack it, do it. And you can get weird. You can go Cook and Thielen. You can go Thielen and Jefferson. You can go Jefferson and KJ Osborne. Like there's a lot. And bring it back with those guys. So I just love the concentrated targets in that game.
And going off that point, yes. And going off that point, Vinny, like if you want to go a game like that where Jim talked about earlier, where the receivers, the stacks are really high, we're going to need a stack that's really low. So my mid to low guy is going to be before my low guy. It's Derrick Carr, and it's the Raiders and the Dolphins. That entire game, I feel like that entire game is about to be a high scoring mess. It's going to be a high scoring mess. Dolphins are healthy. Raiders are healthy. Raiders don't run the ball. Yes. They're going to throw the ball like crazy. Everyone is 1% owned in that game. It is absolutely wild. So I'm going to be all over Minnesota, Seattle. Stack the hell out of that game. Throw some Raiders, throw some Dolphins into that thing, and we're good to go. We got some high octane shit going on. So Derek Carr is coming in at 1.5%. Like I said, he's 5,900. No one can ignore that he's thrown for 840 yards in 2 games. Their offensive line is so goddamn bad on the run game that they're throwing the ball every play, and they don't. I actually respect it. They're not even trying.
You really are the fan for Major League 2. Randy Quaid.
Oh, Randy Quaid. No, I'm not. I've been asking for 8 years for Derek Carr to do what he's doing in these first 2 games, and he's finally doing it. I hope he keeps it going. I've been asking for this. Everyone knows he's had the talent, and he just doesn't fucking do it because he's a pussy. But now he's throwing the ball downfield. But 56 attempts and 37 attempts in week 1 and 2. I think 37 is his floor it's his floor this season. Yeah. 37 is his absolute floor. I like it. There's plenty of stack options. I like Derek Carr as I mean, I know he's low, but he's really my mid guy. Because I was going to pick Cousins, but you jacked me. So Jim's mid.
So if we're talking about a mid-range guy that has extremely cheap stacking options in a game where they're going to be forced to have to score, I think it's Justin Herbert.
Good call.
He just doesn't. He hasn't shown out quite yet. Their offense isn't quite clicking. So there's some touchdown regression built in on the positive side.
No, right? Their red zone offense isn't clicking. They are clicking. It's the red zone offense is not good lately.
But that's where the touchdowns are being lost.
You're right. You're right.
So if you're talking about him versus a guy like Brady, right, who everybody's going to play, who's already thrown 9 touchdown passes, there's touchdown regression built in on the negative side for Brady as well, right? So I think that, Herbert is my guy in that mid-range right there. I like his stacking options. I think a lot of people continue to gravitate toward Mike Williams or toward Keenan Allen, but the more and more I watch film and the more I watch these games, they're actively trying to get the ball to a healthy Mike Williams, which is something they haven't had in quite some time. You've got Austin Eckler, who I think, he's a pass-catching running back, so you can easily pair him with Herbert if you want to, and that's not something a lot of people do. And then, he didn't really do anything last week, but I think you can go right back to him for a cheap guy in Guyton, who they're going to actively look to push the ball down the field with.
Yeah.
So
great call.
I think the only thing I'll say on that too is you're completely right. I think just don't fade Keenan Allen. Like I saw the stats
we'll get there with receivers.
Yeah, he smokes the Chiefs. Yes. So I love that, Jim.
So with Justin Herbert, he got 18.4 and 19.7 points with 1 touchdown in each game. That's saying a lot. All he has to do is convert a few more. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to complete the ball. He's going to go 300 plus. He's going to get you that extra 4 or 5 points for 300. I love that, Jim. I wasn't thinking too deeply about that. So yeah, great job. Herbert's the man.
Let's rock one more guy for me.
Low.
That
You're low.
X factor. low 0% owned, or that you just think could make the slate?
Well,
can I take this one?
Well, I mean, I've got one right under Derrick Carr, and
Boomerang
it's Danny Dimes. So
80 quarters.
Playing at home. No, yeah, I mean, he might be Danny Quarters after this week. We might have to call him fucking Danny Silver Dollar after this week.
Danny Silver Dollar.
Might have to call him Danny Golden Eagle after this week. Shit, he's playing the Atlanta Falcons. He's playing the Atlanta Falcons, who actually have a decent rushing defense. If you watch the last two games that they played, they were covering versus Brady last week until old man Matt Ryan threw two pick sixes to the same guy.
Back to back.
Okay,
back
to back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, their defense actually isn't as bad as you think it is, but the weakness is in the passing game, as you can see from last week. Brady just tore them up, and then week 1, too, Hurts just basically did whatever he wanted to through the air. So, Danny Dimes is my guy. 5,800. I think that's about as low as I really want to go this week for quarterback. A lot of people are going to play somebody else down there a little bit lower, but I mean, I think Danny Dimes has legitimate. And I don't know if a lot of people watched that game on Thursday night last week, but
no,
see how many rushing yards he put up last week?
No, it's not only that, Jim. He's actually grading out as one of the top quarterbacks in his passing game this year as well. And I don't put too much weight into Pro Football Focus, but when it translates from what you see to actually on that, you go, okay. He's throwing the ball well, and his receivers are actually clicking, especially Sterling Shepard. I like the call.
So yeah, he's got 2 rushing touchdowns. And he's got 15 carries for 122 yards through 2 weeks. I mean, we're talking about rushing upside. Everyone talks about Lamar. I don't know if Lamar has that many rushing yards through 2 weeks. So, yeah. I mean, he's a guy who actively looks to run. They run read option with him, right? And now that Saquon's going to be healthy, that read option is going to be even a little bit more dynamic. So, I mean, that he's the guy that, honestly, he might be my highest owned quarterback of the week.
I love it. Joe, I know who you're going to play because I saw Confucius earlier this week. So
yeah, you did.
Let me just hit on one guy that
By the way, I'm not Confucius. Confucius is Confucius.
Sorry. I saw Confucius talking.
Don't implicate me.
You are not Confucius.
I translate for Confucius. Confucius tells me and I tell the people.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. A sign from God. A guy that I will
mandate of heaven.
Shares. He's not going to be a core play of mine, but a guy that I will have a few shares of is Justin Fields. I think he is a pretty freaking awesome talent. I think Cleveland's defense is completely overrated. We saw before Tyrod pulled his hammy last week, they were taking it to Cleveland, and Tyrod was kicking their ass, and it was running and passing, and you now going to plug in a guy who's much younger and runs a flat 4.4 against this defense. Like, I think the rushing upside alone at 5,200 it gives you. I mean, you can hit that bonus on DraftKings right there with 100 yards if he gets it. And I think Allen Robinson finally has a quarterback. Like, this seems like a pretty good spot, in my opinion, to see what this kid can do. And I think he's going to come out and come out guns blazing.
The only things I like about that pick is the rushing touchdown upside on the goal line, which I love, which you know they're going to do out of packages. 2, he actually has a week as the starting quarterback, preparing as a starting quarterback, and the game plan is meant for him. So I will talk about that on my next pick as well, but I think that's a big deal. When you get that full week to practice with the first team, it's schemed for you. You're not running some other quarterback's offense. It's a big deal.
And I love the fact that this kid came up as a blue chipper, Georgia, Ohio State, and he had come out and just been like, dude, I've pretty much been preparing for this my whole life. I think this kid's going to come out and tear shit up. And if Dalton sucks. This kid's going to win the starting job. He's going to be 6,200, 6,500, pretty quick. I'll take him at low 5s.
Yeah. I don't know about that, Vinny, but no matter what, he is going to be the most played person on Red Zone on Sunday. So you're going to get a lot of looks at him.
I don't think he's going to be that popular. I really don't. I think people are going to freak out, just like you guys always make fun of me, with oh, I want to play everybody, right? People are going to plug him in and be like, oh, there's Mahomes I'm not playing, and Kyler I'm not playing, and all these guys, and it's like I think he has 20-point like upside at 5,200. Like,
yeah, but the problem is, Vinny, is from your quarterback, 20 points is okay. You really need close to 30.
Yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is for 5,200, I'm saving $3K there. That gets me Cook versus James White.
Vinny, I've been toying with that. I've been toying with that a lot this week. And before I move on to like my guy, because he's in the same price range, I'm in the same boat as you. We're really looking for 3X to 4X. 4X would be phenomenal from any of these guys in the low end range. There's a lot of high price receivers I'm just in love with this week, right? For some reason, I want to go up. So I want to take these chances on some low quarterbacks.
We're running some kind of long time here. So like hit on your low quarterback and then we'll kind of move
on. My guy is Jacoby Brissett. I talked about it earlier. Miami and Las Vegas. I think that price is going to go up. 4,900. Jacoby Brissett started in 32 games in his career. And he knows how to win. Again, I think, and the Dolphins, you got Parker, he's healthy. You got Preston Williams, he's healthy. You got Waddle, he's healthy. Jasecki, they're all back. Will Fuller, forgot about him. Will Fuller's back. Again, the whole plethora of weapons the Dolphins have been trying to put around Tua that can't throw the ball past 20 yards, that noodle arm bitch. So Jacoby Brissett is in. He is going to throw the ball downfield. Jacoby Brissett's going to get a 300-yard game. You got Jonathan Abram in coverage. That's all I'm saying. There's too many weapons for Miami. Yeah. They're healthy. I know they looked like shit last week. They got embarrassed last week. I think this is an absolute trap game for the Raiders. I'm scared as a Raider fan. I think this game goes high everything. I think the numbers go up, and at 4,900 at a 0.5% owned, fucking sign me up for every GPP.